back to Dating and Relationship Advice. I don't know. So still, that's let's extend the same question. Why go back to a past relationship? And she kept on coming back to me.
So that is what you're afraid of. That now you're afraid, treat you like shit, and then keep on yo-yoing back.
Yeah, because I know I'm the only person who actually treated her right completely. I mean, there's some things that I did believe her because she kept on repeating it over and over again, even when she was drunk. Or even when she was vulnerable, not vulnerable. There's certain things that I do believe her.
Like what?
Well, she said that I was everything that she needed and she wanted, or at least 90% of it. And yeah, we had lots and lots of things in common that brought us together. And, you know, I believe that would still bring us together. But I don't know. She said that she would never settle, but she did settle for a lot of misfit toys, I guess, if you want to call it that. I mean, there's one guy that she dated that was argumentative, but he had a big penis. There's another guy who was he's on my podcast. We call him the Giant. He wasn't really attractive. He was huge. He had no bottom teeth.
What?
And to her, she said she wasn't attracted to him, but she dated him because she was lonely. That's no excuse to be with somebody when I'm right in front of her face.
Right.
And we can do tons of things that are a lot of fun. At least to her, because we had so many things in common. Life would have never been boring, so she said to me. But she still chose to, I don't know, not date me because in her mind I was the liar, even though I wasn't. And I proved her wrong. I mean, there was probably one or two things that I lied about, but I showed her the evidence.
I mean, white lies, like if you're doing something for somebody, I mean, and you're like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, nothing. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's an acceptable lie.
No, I mean, you know, she said that I lied on my profile initially. I mean, they're all small things when she lied about really big things. But that doesn't matter that she lied about really big things. It's just the small things that I lied about matter to her. And that's what turned her off.
Because it's not, there's a word for that other than hypocrite, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
Well, she was the biggest hypocrite. I mean, she's allowed to do all kinds of things, but you're not. It's like she hates when people break plans with her, but if she breaks plans with you, it's okay.
Double standard.
Yeah, even though you even though you spent tickets to go to New York, even though you spent tickets on concerts or other things, it doesn't matter. She's like, well, I don't like you right now. I'm going to date somebody else because I don't want to talk about things. All I want to think about is happy things. I want to be in the moment. And, you know, to me, that's a little bit, I don't know what it is.
Selfish.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think about, you know, stability, the future. I want to be able to talk to my best friend about a bad day. I like support, and I like to be there for them to be that supporting person. But if it's talking about something bad, she doesn't want to hear it. And I'm like, well, I have a problem with something that you said. Oh, I don't want to hear it. I just want to talk about good things. I want to laugh and watch TikTok all day. And not think about adult issues. I mean, we probably got together about 10 times before we finally cut it off. And it's like, you know, I used to sit in this house over and over again, you know, wake up in the morning, looking at her paintings, my paintings, her chess set, my chess set, the way, we worked on the kitchen together, all these memories in this stupid house that I don't want to be in.
I know.
And how many guys that she slept with? Well, I just sit here. And how many times did I sit next to her while she talks to her ex-boyfriends and not respect my feelings?
That's horrible.
And then it's kind of funny because this last boyfriend, she goes, well, I don't think it's respectful to his feelings to talk to my ex-boyfriend, so I think we should not talk to each other. I mean, what the fuck is that all about? When she made me go out with her ex-boyfriend, and we go out to places, just the three of us. Don't you think that's a little disrespectful?
Totally.
And I watched,
ridiculous.
I watched them hug each other, and she's like, "Oh, you're not going to tell me what kind of friends I should have." I mean, it's totally rude, disrespectful, all kinds of things.
Double standards, or?
Yeah, she had a lot of double standards.
But they always do. Narcissists do.
Yeah, it's just... She broke up because of the things that she thought I was doing that were in her head. And I think on your end, he did the same thing, right?
He was fucking crazy.
You said he was crazy?
To treat somebody the way I was treated. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was, I don't want to say brainwashed, but it was abusive. Like, I was so scared to get out. I was so scared. He told me I wasn't going to make anything. He told me because of my narcolepsy, which I had never once even told him that I was tired and asked him to ever once take the kid and change a diaper or got up with him at night, that he was going to make sure that I didn't lose my kid. He would take the kids from me. And he told me that he would make sure that I never saw my kids again. And that was the scariest thing at all.
I don't know, at that moment, didn't you question?
No, I was so scared. Those kids meant everything to me. Everything.
So then you would have to go out of your way to protect them from him, right?
And that's when I finally started turning the corner. When we're driving down the road one day, and Morgan's 4 years old, and mind you, Steve is driving, and it's kind of why I'm weird about driving in the car. Like, I make jokes about it, but it's a big deal to me, because Steve used to drive like a maniac, drive really fast, and he didn't care that he scared me in the car. And I would say, look, you're scaring me. And he would be like, no, I'm not. Like, he would never, like, if I had a feeling about something, it didn't matter. And Morgan goes, Daddy's a bully. In that moment, I know exactly where we were on the road. And we were going up the Weatherstone Hill near our neighborhood when she said that. And I thought, holy shit, I've got to protect my kids from him. And that's when it all began to turn. Because I was all they had.
Yeah, that was kind of a shame because she did some of that in front of her kids. Like, she called them a liar a couple of times, but then she did the research. And, I saw, like, both of their heads look down when she said, oh, you're such a liar. I don't believe you. I forgot what animal it was, where they said, this kind of animal has teeth. And it was like a platypus, and she had to look up the information about a platypus. When she talked up and down, it's like, no, you're such a liar. And she did the same thing to me.
And her reactions were completely disproportionate to the situation, I'm gonna guess.
I don't know, but she didn't show that side of her, and how, I don't know, how disrespectful she was. She didn't really care about my feelings at all.
Mine weren't cared about either. Nothing I said mattered. It didn't matter if I was hot, cold, had a fever, was sick. I mean, I was throwing up, and I had the flu, and I was still taking care of Morgan and something, and I didn't know I'd had the flu until somebody was like, you know what? I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone. She goes, you know what? You've thrown up a lot more than normal. She goes, I think you have the flu. And I'm like, nah. And I'm like, oh my God. So I started counting how many times I puked, because I puked all the time with Carter. And then Steve came downstairs. He goes, well, when you're finished puking, can you take me to get my car? And I just looked at him. And I went, dropped him off to get his car, and went to pick Morgan up from school, because she was like there for 2 hours. And this crazy ass lady yelled at me. I'll never forget it. And mind you, I'm not a crier at all. I think it was hormones and everything else. And this lady started crying, like yelling at me, and I started crying. And I was completely right to where I was parked, but she just was having a bad day, and she decided to lay into me. And the director of the preschool called, and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, I can't stop crying. I was like, I'm really embarrassed. I said, and I'm laughing. I said, but I can't stop crying. It was between the hormones and being sick, and it was, but like, you know what I mean? I wasn't taking it out on anybody. I was just sobbing. It was so embarrassing. And that's what happened every time I'd ever cry around Steve. He'd be like, you're such a baby. You cry about everything. And I didn't cry very often. If somebody screams at me, I'm going to cry. And then I get pissed off because I can't get out what I've got. Again, like, I've gotten so much better about being able to articulate what I need to say without crying. But now I'm kind of going the opposite way.
So going back to the question, why go back to a past relationship? I mean, a lot of people, once they realize who I am, what I'm all about, people come to me for, like questions or advice, or you want to date, and I'm like, no. I mean, I don't want to be second best. You didn't choose me at the beginning or at first. So, why should I even entertain it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they made a mistake, maybe they didn't, but I don't know. I've already ruined myself anyways.
You have not ruined yourself. You have not.
No, because my last relationship, I'm never stressed. I'm so calm. I'm monotone. I don't have a facial expression or anything. And now after dating her, it's just, now I'm stressed beyond. My stomach hurts all the time. My hair's falling out. I don't know. I feel ugly when I'm not. I feel like an idiot when I'm not. I mean, I know I'm a good guy. Everybody tells me I'm a good guy. You listen to all the podcasts and they think I'm well, at least they give positive feedback. Unless they're all lying. I don't know. But I doubt that.
But here's the thing, and this is my 2 cents. Start enjoying stuff, because there's been space between her, and you've just had time to sit around and think about it and analyze it and scrutinize it.
Yeah, but there's no reason why she needed to do what she did.
No, there's not, and you may never get closure. I'll never get closure. I'll never get answers other than the ones I've come to,
Well, see, see, I'm struggling with a certain part of what you just said.
Yeah.
So she told me, back in the day, her psychologist said, it's not your job to give him closure. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so it's not her job to be accountable for her own actions on what she's caused. And all the turmoil, all the stupid shit that she's done to her kids, She's introduced boyfriends the very next weekend, when she, lied and said, I'm never going to introduce new boyfriends to my kids. And she's done it over and over and over again. And I have to hear about it from my friends, even though I block her from whatever she's doing, because I don't want to see what ugly fuck that she's fucking around with. Whether it's no teeth or it's some skinny skateboard kid.
I think you need to ask your friend to stop telling you.
Yeah, I told him I don't appreciate you telling me what she's doing, because I don't need to know what she's doing. Because I know I'm better than every single one of them, and she doesn't give a shit. I mean, I'm not trying to kiss my own ass, but it's just the evidence.
I want to see that. I want to see you kissing your own ass. Let's turn it. I need a picture of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a sight to see.
What? What'd you say? Oh my God, tell me. No secrets, tell me.
No, just what Lisa used to tell me all the time.
What?
It's like, yeah, I have a cute ass. Yeah, let's, do this and that. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah, Lisa's. What did you call her? A cum dumpster?
Oh, jeez.
And I'm still traumatized by that term, by the way.
Yeah, that turned me off. I mean, if she introduces guys every week, or I don't even know how many times a week. I mean, she's in the adult industry. She likes to fuck. So I don't necessarily want to be slipping and sliding on somebody else's stuff.
No.
That grosses me out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and she wanted a relationship, and I wasn't. That was not attractive to me.
Who, Lisa?
Yeah, just her lifestyle is not attractive to me.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah. No. Ugh.
And she's like, well, everybody wants to lock this down, and, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, why people want to lock that down is because they don't want to tie a board on their ass and start diving into that, that crotch of yours.
Gross.
Yeah, it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway kind of thing. Nobody wants that.
Oh my God.
Or that's like putting your hands in there and there's enough room to clap. Nobody wants that. Really?
A hot dog in the hallway, and oh my God, the analogies tonight are killing me.
I mean, I have them all on my podcast. I mean, it's disgusting. And it's more disgusting that, I look at my past, again with my ex, sitting here while she talks to other guys. And she tells me, nobody's going to tell me who my friends are, even though I want these guys, while she's telling me that she loves me and I'm the greatest guy since sliced bread. I mean, that's fucked up.
It is, Brian. Unlove is not fucked up. Kindness is not fucked up. Sincerity, it's not fucked up.
Yeah, but you had mentioned early on that commonality connects you, right?
You were the one that has gone about the commonality thing. That was your wheelhouse.
It was, but you mentioned it, right? It's because we can relate. That's the things that we have in common, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there's certain things that we do have in common, and it's those specific things are strong with you that makes you want to go back. So that's why I'm thinking, why come back to a past relationship? Is because of the common things, isn't it? Or it's because of the things that you can relate with that person, right?
It's, for me, there's no I don't know if there's a formula.
Well, I'm not talking about your experiences or if you've never done it, but does it make more sense that you have more of a connection with what you relate to with somebody else? If you want to call it relate to, commonality, I don't know what you want to call it.
I'm not understanding your question. Okay. again, it has to do with the commonalities. It has to do about the way I feel. It's about it's all these little things. It's about the fact that I made some poor choices. It's about the fact that how I felt, all of these things. It's just not one specific thing. It's you take all these things and it's all those things.
Yeah, but you can say that with a narcissist. It's like, I felt great when we were together.
I didn't.
He gave me positive feedback, but then there's negative things over here that I don't want to think about.
But that's not the same. There was nothing positive in my relationship with him. Like, we never even talked. I mean, I could just go on and on about the way that our relationship was not even, it was like two people who are married that don't even like each other. Okay. Well, I mean, So
it was different for you than it was for me then. Comparing relationship to relationship.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we were like married couples.
Yeah, because she gave me tons of positive feedback all the time, more than negative feedback. But when the negative feedback was there, it was bad.
Is that why you can't accept a compliment?
I don't know. I just know the truth. I mean, I know my downfalls. I know I have a lot of positive things, even though some people just don't care for it.
What do you mean? No.
But you know what I'm getting at. Why come back to a past relationship? I know you think it's a lot of emotional things on, remembering the good times, and don't you think it's, I don't know, for some reason I think it's the things that you can relate with, that you can come together on, that you both agree on, your experiences, both morals and values are the same. Those are the commonalities. Talking about the bad relationships, narcissistic people, those are the common things that we have in common, that we can relate to. So a lot of things that we can relate to, a lot of things that we've experienced are the same, a lot of things that we understand about each other, that we can be there for each other. Those are the commonalities that are important.
Yeah.
And the things that you enjoy each other, whether it's the same food or the same things that you want to go to, whether it's painting pumpkins or whatever it is, those little things, they do matter, and that those add to the common things that you can relate with.
Yeah.
But for me, it is important to relate to your past. Or my past. With Beth, we can both relate to chess. We can relate to how we grew up when we were little. We can relate to the problems with our mothers. We can relate to a lot of things in our past. We can relate to hanging out with our cousins. For some reason, they're both 6 years apart. My cousin's 6 years apart from me. Her cousin's 6 years apart from her. See, the problem is we can relate on so many levels from the past, the present, and the future that it's hard to disconnect. That's why it's so hard to disconnect from.
Right, okay. And I appreciate you explaining that to me.
No, but doesn't that make sense that this is why people come back to each other? Is because you can relate like no other people can relate. Because I was trying to get a sense of understanding from you, and it's not like you got that part of it. Does that make sense?
It's not like I understood what you were trying to ask me. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I was trying to get from your point of view, why do people, in general, why would people come back to a past relationship?
It just depends. Like it's just not a one-size-fits-all. It's and sometimes it's abuse and it's control. Sometimes it's
no, but that's not a positive thing. What I just expressed is a lot of positive things.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you ever went back to him.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so that's not the same topic.
Okay. Okay. But I want you to be free to enjoy stuff. I don't want you to be weighted down by the worries of. And I guess that's what I worry about, is that I worry for you is that Beth's words, you're still internalizing the negative ones. And I want you to know that, number one, that she's crazy. And number two, that that's not right at all. It's very much the opposite.
Yeah, but see, that's where the confusing part is, and that's why I usually call her. She's a good salesman, because she does emphasize the positive, but then when there's negative, it's really bad. Um, Most of the time, it was positive, and we always had a great time. But when she got into her, I don't know if I should say crazy moments. It's more like her fears of abandonment, her fears of jealousy and not feeling important or heard, then it was really bad. So, yeah,
It kind of outweighed the good.
Yeah, it's like if one little thing went wrong, everything's wrong. If there was a tiny lie, like if my mom called me and she asked me, "Hey, is everything okay?" and I go, "Yeah, everything's okay," when it's really not, it would go downhill really fast with me and her. It's like, well, what else are you lying about? Why are you lying to her about all kinds of things? Why are you lying to people about this and about that and about... I'm not lying. It's something called tact, and you have to learn the definition of what tact is. Me and Beth were both sensitive people. I understood her, she understood me, so I practiced tact. You don't absolutely tell the truth, regardless if it hurts or not, to people all the time.
You can't.
No, you're not. You're not supposed to be rude. It's like, oh, that guy over there has a toupee. Why don't we ask him to take his hat off?
What? Is this a real conversation?
Yeah, this is a real conversation.
Okay.
It's like, why is that guy over there lying about things? She associates lying with having a toupee. If somebody focuses on the negative, like, how come you're a different color than me? How come you have a cleft lip? Do you have a toupee? Do you have breast implants? Isn't that rude to point out the negative attributes of someone? Or is that more like picking fun of somebody or bullying them? You don't do that to somebody you love and turn it around and tell them, why do you lie all the time? That's not a lying thing. Does that make any sense? Or maybe a breast implant, or she actually sprays her hair because she used to pull her hair out because she was so stressed when she was younger. So she hides the fact that she's bald in a lot of spots. So why is she lying? I'm not focusing on that, but she's focusing on other things that... I mean, these people do things to make themselves happy, so why are you ruining that for them?
Yep. Because you know why? I can tell you why. Because it makes them feel better about themselves. Because if these people are doing so much wrong and they're lying and this or that, her lies aren't that big of a deal. Hers are little lies, and she can justify. And that is a word, I swear to God, like every time I hear it, I'm like, oh my God. Because Steve would always try to get me to justify whatever it was. I always had to justify everything.
Well, for me, it makes sense why Beth is so sensitive about people lying, is because her father did that most of her life. Because he was narcissistic, and he trained her to kind of be that way.
But it doesn't matter how someone is trained. It doesn't matter how someone acts. Everybody, as an adult, they have the option to reject their childhood, accept their childhood, or be the person they want to be or not be that person. There's no excuses. You can make a mistake and say you're sorry, but to tell everybody that they're lying when they're wearing a freaking toupee, yeah, that's just bullshit. It's just, all it is, it's narcissistic. Because I actually contacted a lady when this whole stuff started with Steve that was really bad. She wrote a book about narcissism and adoption. And I asked, and I said, well...
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, that they're going to push and push and push and push and see how far they can push you. And they're finally going to push you too hard and you're going to walk away. And she's like, it happens every time.
Yeah, but it's not really a symptom of adoption or somebody that's been adopted. Because everybody that's been adopted isn't like that.
True, but in the cases that she's studied, in Steve's case, people like him push and push and push and push, and then at that time I didn't realize he was a narcissist. So, yeah.
Or you probably didn't know what that was at
Nope.
the time. Yeah, I didn't know what that was until she told me that I was a narcissist. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm the one who's giving all the time.
Yep.
I mean, I bought a house for her. I bought all kinds of separate things just to get her comfortable. She wants to be comfortable, and I'm like, oh, so is there something I can do to get you more comfortable? I'll do it. And I did it. I was emotionally open to her. I shared everything that she wanted me to. Things that I never shared with anybody, even my family members. I was physically and mentally open to her. I gave her everything that she asked. That's not somebody who's narcissistic.
No. That's really sweet.
Yeah, but she didn't care. She's like, oh, you lied about your age on your profile. Ooh. So I guess that's not as bad as dating me and dating a married man and still being married. Oh, that negates all of that because I lied about my age. Even though it was in the subject line of my profile. I can understand why she's hypersensitive about people lying about the smallest things, which make her question a lot of things. No reason to throw stones in a glass house. It's like, what is the real problem instead of pointing out those things?
Again, it's to make herself feel better. That's the real problem, is that she is lying. And when she deflects it on you and says, look at him, she's justifying her lying and feeling good about herself, and that's the only way she can operate.
Yeah, she doesn't want to fix anything. She never did. Even though it's her fault and it's her doing.
Mm-hmm. Steve was the same way until the very one time in the parking lot of Arby's, and I was getting the kids. He's like, I don't want this divorce. And I just looked at him. I was like, it's like, what the fuck ever. I don't care that you don't want the divorce. I've given you years of therapy, years of counseling. You've never once taken me seriously or listened to one damn thing I had to say.
So in a sense, would you say he never really gave you a chance?
What do you mean, never gave me a chance?
To work together.
No, there was no partnership. I'm telling you, it was the most dysfunctional relationship that I ever had. There wasn't a we. I remember after I had Connor, I think it was, and he goes, congratulations. And I just looked at him. Where was the we?
What do you mean, congratulations for what?
Because I just had a baby.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
I didn't understand either. Why wouldn't he say, good job, stuff like that? But congratulations?
Wasn't that what a stranger does?
Yes.
And says?
Yes. There was never a we. And it's so important to me, the we, the us, those are important things to me. like a team, like working together, supporting each other.
Yeah, but in a sense, people don't work together. It's almost like you asking me, what do you want to do? Make a list of fun things that you'd want to do. And I'm like, well, why don't we discuss what we both enjoy together instead of me making a list of things that I like separate from what you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're totally correct.
Yeah, but that's I'm going back to even profiles on single site. They always like the men to do something, the men to organize things, the men to suggest a place. And I'm like, well, before I suggest something, or before I be the so-called man, why don't you tell me, are you allergic to peanuts? Are you allergic to this? Do you like seafood? There's a lot of questions to be asked before a decision is made. So why not do it together instead of make it a responsibility of one person or the other?
Yeah.
But people don't think that way. I mean, most of the people that I see out there, they don't think that way at all. I mean, there's a lot of fun places that you've gone that I've never gone.
Okay.
And I don't normally just go out anywhere. Find myself and explore.
I don't go out at night, like bars and stuff like that. I'm not a bar girl.
Well, you don't have to be a bar girl just to go out and sing karaoke or go axe throwing or go see a band at a bar or go to another bar to see amateur night or
I haven't done any of the things you've mentioned.
Or maybe another bar to watch a comedian. I mean, whether it's a bar or not a bar, I mean, you don't necessarily have to drink or drink. It's just a place to have fun and go.
True.
I mean, I like to go to fun places, but I don't know, I'm just so guarded and miserable that I just don't want to do anything. I mean, I do want to do something, but I don't want to do something, if that makes some sense.
Yeah. And that's why I'm telling you, and I don't know how else to keep on telling you, so I'm going to keep on telling you, is that a lot of the stuff is out of your hands. And I understand that.
You know, how do initially anybody get there? Into the deep conversations, into the letting their other half know that we have their back. When everybody just wants to tell jokes, have fun. What was it like online for you? Like, was everybody telling you jokes?
Oh, God, it was ridiculous. All the online stuff is ridiculous. I mean, some people would try to be nice, and some people would send dick pics, and some people would have conversations. It's all over the board.
Yeah, but the conversations, were they more funny? They weren't more serious, were they?
No, mm-mm.
Yeah, so most of them were funny, haha, let me tell you about something funny about my day kind of thing.
Yeah.
See, I don't have those things.
What, funny about your day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't spill coffee on my lap, or I don't even drink coffee.
There's your first problem right there. If you drank coffee, then you'd have stories.
No, not necessarily.
I don't usually talk about, like, the in-depth stuff.
So don't you think that might be the problem? With people trying to connect?
It's just, are you talking, okay, so if you go back to dating.
Because it's frustrating. It's frustrating to me. It's frustrating how long it takes just to get to this point. You know what I mean?
But maybe.
You know, how many breakups and how many dates in between in order you to get back to that past relationship in order for you to connect? That doesn't excuse the fact that it's frustrating.
True.
Or that doesn't...
Constant state of frustration.
Or that doesn't excuse the fact that I have all these walls up, or I'm so stressed, because I've been shown to, if something's wrong, just run. Just like everybody else has ran. And don't talk about things, because that's what people do. They just ghost people. They just disappear. They don't talk. They don't talk about the good and bad things. All they do is just talk about the good things. You have to buy yourself a chisel and a hammer.
Okay. A chisel.
And your chisel is asking the right questions. And the hammer is repeating those positive things over and over again.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
It does. It's a good metaphor, but it is exactly.
You know how many times people say, well, why aren't you bringing me to your house? Why aren't you showing me who your son is? And I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I introduce somebody that I don't really know to my kids or show you where I live? It's like, we have to build a relationship.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
It's almost like the reverse. It's like, you don't invite every man to your house, do you?
No. No.
Okay. Well, see, that's my point. So it's almost like it's not okay for a guy, but it's okay for a woman.
Well, the sex thing is totally guys, or if guys sleep with someone, ooh, good job, man, and the girls sleep with someone, she's such a whore.
Right, but that's not, I don't know, that's a little more laid back now.
Yeah.
But it's not good if you're sleeping with somebody, like one person every day or two guys a week.
Gross.
That's a little bit much.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, even if you are a good person or you have good intentions, that still doesn't mean anything. I've learned that, and you've learned that.
But the thing is, you can't grade everybody else on your past relationships. Like, I could. Here's a perfect example. Did I get cheated on multiple times? Yep. With Steve? Yep. I mean, I even busted him one time with the kids.
Well, why don't you assume that certain people are like that?
I don't assume certain people are like that.
Well, then, so how do you get past it?
I have to say, you know what? He's given me no reason to assume that he's cheating on me. Now, if I had reason, that'd be different. But I don't go looking for reasons.
Well, what if I'm talking to a friend of mine that I've known since high school that's a woman?
That's not cheating.
Well, how do you know?
With trust.
Well, that's you can't have the basis of just trusting somebody after you've been through something like that.
I come to every relationship with trust. Some people do it the opposite way. I trust until proven otherwise.
Yeah, but some people don't trust until they're proven otherwise.
Well, that's the way they're choosing to operate. I can't change that. But what I can change is the way I feel. I trust until you've given me a reason not to trust you.
Okay,
because I feel if I didn't, I shouldn't be dating or shouldn't be dating anybody if I can't give them the opportunity to show me trust, that they are trusted. And if I feel like they aren't being trustworthy, find out and then say goodbye.
Or you should assume and then say goodbye, right?
Nope. Marty.
Why not?
I like to be positive. I like to take a positive approach because negative to me is self-defeating.
Yeah, but then being negative is you're not setting yourself up for a fall, or you're not being surprised.
I've been surprised. I've been surprised being it's. I hear what you're saying. It's about self-preservation, but it's about the way to look at it. And I choose to be positive. I'm choosing it.
All my life, people have abandoned me, so why wouldn't I think that?
It's almost like I choose you, Pokemon. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
That's just an old cartoon. Are you familiar with Pokemon?
A little bit.
Oh, because Ash Ketchum used to say, "I choose you," and then he'd bring out his Pokemon. I don't know, it's something stupid. It's just popped in my head.
It's cute though.
Most people don't know what I'm talking about, so.
I think I've seen something I've seen Pokemon.
It just leaves me more questions and more bricks on the wall.
What?
Like Pink Floyd.
Well, hold on. There's not another brick in the wall. Why? Why?
Do you like all these analogies?
You're killing me tonight. You're killing me, Smalls.
Oh, now you're quoting that movie?
Yeah.
When you're adding more bricks to the wall, Pink Floyd?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It shouldn't leave you with more questions. It should leave you with more answers. I'm choosing positive. When you're negative, it is a self-defeating prophecy. And you're going to find, if you're looking for something, and that's what somebody told me one time, if you're looking for something, you're going to find it. If you're looking for someone to be rude to, you're like, I'm in a bad mood. Everybody's rude to me today. See, look, somebody's rude to me. Oh, look, they looked at me wrong. You're going to find that.
Yeah, of course. But, if you find somebody's rude to you, you just ignore it.
Yeah.
At least you should.
But it was like the girl thing you were just talking about. And I think you brought this up with Beth. That Beth was upset that you were spending more time with some other person than you were with her, right?
Right, but I really wasn't.
Correct.
Because she wouldn't even look at my phone on how long I talked to these people.
Well, see, the only reason I bring it up is I had a relationship, and it was great and everything, but he did not want to let go of his ex-wife, and I don't understand. And he he spent more time with his ex-wife than he spent with me and the kids because he didn't want to break up the family unit. So instead of going on the weekends and, taking one of those days and going with me, he was taking his ex-wife and his kids out on the boat.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Beth can relate to that too, because that's where she was dating somebody who was married. He'd always take his kids or his wife out somewhere or somebody else, but not her, because she was the side piece, and she didn't see it. And me and her cousin kept on trying to convince her that she was just being used, and she didn't see it. She was so in love with this guy, and she didn't really care. She treated me like shit too. Whatever he said, she would jump.
Yep. But this guy was divorced, wanting to date me.
Maybe you were the side piece and he just wanted to be with them, trying to get her back.
No, it wasn't it.
Well, then why would he spend so much time over there?
Because he's a family man, and I don't think he was over her.
You just proved my point.
Oh, if he was over her, he would have started a different family. Or he would have brought the kids outside of her.
If he was over his ex, he would find a way to avoid her.
We could analyze what he would have done, and believe me, I would have done a lot of things different. Like one day, she called him, and he answered the phone, and she was screaming at him. Screaming at him. I've never heard him even yell. And I was like, why do you take that? He's like, it's just how she is. And I'm like on Mother's Day, he was over, planting flowers at her house. And then later on that weekend, he was taking everybody out on the boat. And I was like, what the fuck? But the point that I'm making here is that I think I've lost the point.
Yeah, but that's not his mother.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to think of.
That was my point too. I was like,
Did she bring him? Did he bring him her flowers when it was Sweetest Day, or something like that?
I don't know.
And maybe now you're refusing to remember that part of it.
But I was gonna say, but the point being is, if you're telling me that there's nothing going on with her.
Then again, people can lie and actions speak louder than words.
Because you have morals and you have values, and I respect you.
Unfortunately, morals and values don't get me dates.
And I have no reason to think that you would lie to me, because that's not something that our relationship is built on, is lies. Nobody's relationship should be built on lies. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel we have enough respect for each other.
And some people hide just to make themselves look better.
Am I right?
Let me think about that.
Oh my God, Brian.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
I respect you.
We do have a good friendship, so I appreciate your comment.
Okay.
I wish somebody else would respect me after all the shit that I've been through with her. But you will always give excuses because she doesn't really care about who you are and your feelings. She has a knack for convincing people that she cares, but her actions speak otherwise. Like I mentioned in the last podcast, you can't convince somebody with a personality disorder to change their view because there's nothing wrong. What they're doing is working. So don't go down that hole where you can never do enough to make them happy. There was a point where I said, here's my email, here's the exact text that was communicated back and forth, and you can check out my phone whenever you want. Here's the password. In my case, she made it a trust issue when there was no trust issue. There's a trust issue on her end because of her past and how she was treated by man after man, or even her father. And it became my problem. It will not matter if you put I love you on the mailbox or a banner with the two of you together and spelling out, yeah, we're together. She will find a way, or he will find a way, and twist it that they can't trust you, regardless of the proof. Do not give them the power to tell you what your self-worth is. All the things that she learned, she taught me. For instance, she taught me what abandonment was. She taught me what judging people do to each other. She taught me that it was okay to be selfish in a relationship instead of being a partner. She mentioned that she wanted unconditional love like her grandparents had. Well, we had that after she went and hopped around between relationship to relationship and came back to me. So she taught me that I wasn't good enough, just like she told her ex-husband, and her ex-husband said, I'm sorry, I'm not good enough. Where do you think that came from? She taught me to say, don't take accountable for your own actions. She taught me that it's not enough to have an emotional, a physical, a mental connection, because that's not enough. It doesn't matter if you travel 2 hours one way to visit her and 2 hours back to work. Who cares? She taught me a lot of things when she said, I want to meet all your friends and get to know everything about you. And then tell you that I'm jealous and I don't want you to talk to anybody because my jealousy just takes over. So I don't want you talking to anybody, but it's okay to go out with my friends or my family. She taught me that it's not okay to relate on many levels. Well, that's bullshit. If they're going to determine your self-worth, you're going to lose because they will always twist the truth to put you down in order for them to feel better or for them to have an excuse that their wrongdoing is worse than yours. The trauma is real, so you have to set up boundaries. You cannot take the bait and you cannot be the bait. So you better get out your extinguisher because you're going to get gaslit. So they will convince you that anything that they do is your fault, and anything that you do is your fault, even if they set you up to fail. I don't believe I'll ever find the connection that I've had with her, and I don't believe she'll ever find a connection that we've had either, because it was so unique that nobody can relate with the things that we relate with on certain things. Plus, we can relate on a lot of levels that people can't. I wish she did care, but she doesn't, and she'll never prove it, or admit it, or take accountability. But I'm hoping you learned something from today, and hopefully you set aside some boundaries, don't fall into that hole like I did. She never gave me a chance, but you should give yourself a chance, at least. I wish I felt I was enough for her. And until next time.
You see that glass half empty each time you look in the mirror. It's like the more you're trying, your flaws start showing up clearer. You bleed emotions so devoted to what people say. So sick of hoping, so you focus on all your mistakes. Stop changing, there's nothing to fix when life's a war for you. That's when your pulse becomes the proof. When you're a little messed up, when you're a little unwell, and nobody understands that you are going through hell. Right here like this, right now, you are enough. When you've been broken and bruised, because the past has been tough, being human is what makes you something worthy of love. Right here, this sick, right now, you are enough. So don't give up. With every passing stranger, you find something that you're missing. So kind, accept to yourself, you're anything but forgiven. You bleed emotions so devoted to what people say. Give second chances left and right and only take the blame. Don't change a single thing, cause there is nothing wrong with you. What do you feel now? Don't make it truth. When you're a little messed up, when you're a little unwell, and nobody understands that you are going through hell. Right here like this, right now, you are enough. When you've been broken and bruised, because the past has been tough, being human is what makes you something worthy of love. Right here, this sick, right now, you are enough. Stop chasing something that you're never gonna find. Already perfect, but your past has left you blind. So when the voices in your head ain't being kind, here is something to remind you. When you're a little messed up, when you're a little